Jeroen, welcome to the Leanpub launch video for Retrieval-Augmented Generation, an engineer's guide to building RAG systems with your own data. I was wondering if you could talk to us a little bit about yourself, about who you are and what you do, and what your book is about and who it's for.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Len. Great to be here. So my name is Jeroen Herczeg. I'm a software engineer. I've been working for over 20 years now. So I've worked mostly on SaaS products, distributed systems, and in the last years more about AI systems, so retrieval, augmented generation, AI agents, and orchestration. One of my last projects was a collaboration between Google and the BBC. So we built AI agents for live broadcasting. It was an accelerator project, so not something that went into production. But yeah, recently we won an award, so I'm quite proud of that. And today I'm launching my book about retrieval augmented generation.
Yeah,
Uh,
and one of the things that at Leanpub, obviously we've been using AI for production and stuff like that. And one thing that you talk about right at the beginning of the book is that one of the inspirations here was people it's people make something that demos great and then fails in production. And so for anyone watching this who's not familiar with how that kind of thing works, it's sort of like online platforms. The way it works, there's a bunch of programmers who program something, and then they have the kind of version of the platform that's running on their computers, and then they can make something work, whether they've used AI or retrieval augmented generation or not to do that. But then someone else has to actually make it work out live in the world rather than just in a kind of test environment on their own computer. And that is like where the big kind of technical kind of rocket science challenges lie. Um, and so I was wondering if you could just talk a little bit about how it is, how is it that this is the book that you wish you'd had, back in 2023?
yeah, so I wrote this book because, like you said, retrieval augmented generation, the prototype, it works, but then you want something in production that you can trust, and it's quite a big gap. So for me, this book is about bridging that gap, going from prototype to production. And yeah, especially retrieval augmented generation, conceptually, it's quite simple. You have your documents, you try to retrieve the most relevant document, you insert it into the prompt, and then it generates an answer. So it's conceptually it's straightforward, but the complexity is in engineering. Like, how do you make chunks of your documents that keep meaning? How do you do similarity, semantic search together with keyword search? How you combine those results? And how can you make changes to to a system and validate them and know that when you ship it that you improve the system? So that's what this book is really about. It's written for software engineers that want to go to production, and the way that I structured the book is the first chapter is talking about why do we need RAG, what are the limitations of standalone large language models. Yeah, you have the knowledge cutoff, you have the hallucinations, you have the no provenance, and then we talk about RAG. Essentially, it's a pipeline. So there are different stages. You have the offline pipeline where you take your documents, you clean them up, you chunk them, you index them into your search system. And then you have the online part where some user has a question, you have to retrieve, you have to augment, and then you generate an answer. So that's the first chapter. And yeah, with every pipeline, uh, if there is some stage that has a failure, you will only see it at the end of the pipeline. So, and that's, I think, the tricky part or the complex part is, if the answer is wrong, you have to figure out where, in which stage that was a failure. Uh, Maybe it wasn't in the corpus itself, so it means that there is missing information, or maybe it was able to retrieve, but it ranked too low to be included into the prompt. Maybe in the large language model did receive the relevant documentation, but didn't reply in a format that the user was intended. So it becomes quite complex if you see it as a whole. And then in the chapters, like chapter 2 to 6, we look at each stage in isolation, like what does it do? What are the approaches? How can we measure, evaluate if it's doing the correct thing before we go to the next step? And then in the middle of the book, at chapter 7, we have our first complete pipeline. And then in the chapters after that, we make it more a more mature pipeline. We do evaluation sets. We do more advanced retrieval approaches. And then at the end, we also look at Agentic RAG. But yeah, for me, the most important thing is I want to build something as simple as possible, and then build upon if we see there. Yeah, we just add complexity when the failure justifies it. So that's how I built the book.
Yeah, well, you got to the end there. One of the questions I wanted to ask you was
Okay.
about Agentic RAG, and just for anyone who's not familiar with it, what is that, and what's the difference between normal retrieval augmented generation and Agentic RAG?
Yeah, so in the normal pipeline, the flow is quite determined. So you get a question. Well, you first have the offline part, but let's just look at the online part. You have a question, then you go to either your vector database to do semantic search, or you do keyword search, or a combination. You generate, and then you get an answer. With Agentic, the flow is determined by the agent itself. So it has tools that it can use. So it can determine, and this way it's not like a fixed pipeline that you go through. It becomes more complex because yeah, you have to have tracing. If there are failures, it could be of a more different places or different stages that could fail. So with Agentic, you can do much more complex things, but yeah, it has to justify the use case.
Yeah, and one of the sort of like kind of very practical kind of kind of dumb question is, am I then exposed to having like millions of my customers using up my AI tokens and stuff like that in that case? And like that, if as a kind of like kind of say non-technical manager or CFO or something like that, I would be like, oh my goodness, how do you protect me from being exposure to misuse or overuse of Agentic RAG?
Yeah, indeed. So that's one of the, yeah, for me as an engineering posture, we want to do, yeah, security. So against, yeah, we want to do security against malicious activity, but we also want to do cost optimization, and yeah, these are the things that we need when we do like Agentic RAG.
Thanks very much for that great explanation. And thanks very much for the great book and for taking your time today to do this launch video with me and for all of us. The book is Retrieval-Augmented Generation, an engineer's guide to building RAG systems with your own data. The book is 100% complete. And it is, one of those sort of great books where it's like a professional engineer who sort of like confronted these challenges in real life and sharing the information with everyone else in a structured way that they wish they'd had when they were first faced with these challenges. So it's an amazing book. Jeroen, thank you very much for taking the time to do this launch video with us today.
Thank you very much, Len. Bye.